Hello little weirdos, welcome to another video, and today we are doing something different. Today I'm going to tell you some spooky stories that happened with me, or you can call it supernatural stories. Yeah, I just want to make some warnings first. I'm not related to any religion at all, although I have a Catholic raising. I don't follow any religion at all, and I can explain this to you guys in the future. But just so you know that I'm not following any religions here. And well, but before I start, wait, hold on. Before I start, if you like this sort of videos, if you have stories of your own, please consider subscribing to this channel. This is Spookathon number 14. And if you have stories of your own, please consider leaving them down below, because I'm very curious about these things. I'm also very skeptical, but I'm very curious. I always go through the logical path. Picking the supernatural solution or explanation is not my first choice. So that's why I'm bringing these stories to you, because they don't make sense at all in my life. But you have those kind of stories, please consider leaving them down below so I can check them. And also please give me a thumbs up for this video and for my poor English trying to explain this to you guys. I'm going to give you some kind of context first. This happened, when this happened? I think it was 2016. And so 4 years ago, I don't remember the month exactly, but my husband and I, at the time he was just my boyfriend, or actually my fiance, and we were going to participate in a street run. So we had to grab our kids of this street run in the city center of São Paulo, but we didn't live in São Paulo. We lived in a city nearby, but São Paulo is huge. So it was pouring, it was raining, it was, you know, those sort of rains that are so strong that it looks like they are throwing rocks at the windows of your car and you can barely see a thing. It's like all gray. So it was this situation, and of course I didn't want to drive through that situation. Yeah, it was me driving, and I was here on my left and my husband was on my right, my boyfriend was on my right, and because we're from Brazil, so I sit on the left side of the car. I'm giving this much detail so you guys can see how much I stopped and thought about everything to see if I didn't miss a thing. Well, anyways, we had no option of doing that another day because we had this time frame to grab our kids, otherwise we wouldn't be able to grab them. And on the following day, that was the run, we wouldn't have our t-shirts and our numbers and the wristbands and everything like that. So we had to go there. It was about 7 or 8 p.m. We left work and we were going there, and I've never been there before. Of course I've been to that shopping center that was the one that we were driving to, but I've only been there by subway. I've never been there by car, even less me driving it. So I was driving totally in slow motion, like 30 kilometers per hour, because everyone was doing so, because it was really hard to see and it was very loud as well because of the sound of the rain pouring in the windows. And I was asking my husband, so boyfriend, fiance, I was asking him, okay, so what now? And he was like, oh, turn to the right, turn to the left. And I was like driving a little bit more, and what now, and he was holding his phone, or my phone. He was holding a phone and he was like this. I'm going to try to show you guys. Let me get something. Okay, let's pretend that this was his phone. He had his phone on his hands and I was driving, and I was asking him for directions the whole time, and because I couldn't like see much ahead and we could only rely on the GPS on his phone, I asked him, okay, so what now? And he was like, oh, go straight, go turn left, turn right. And at one point I remember the street was like going down, and then there was other street crossing, and as soon as you cross this street, the street was going up again. So it was like this. So I was going down, there was a street in here, and then this street started coming up, and I was like over here, around here. Okay, so at this moment I turned to him and I asked him, okay, so what now? What should I do now? And he was looking at his phone. He looked at me and he said,
Okay, so you're going straight for some time, and then you are going to turn right.
And I said, okay. So I looked both ways. I crossed this little street that was crossing in the middle, and I started like going up on the street. He said,
Oh, no, no, no. You are not turning right. This street is going like to end, and it's going to be a natural right. You're not going to have to leave the street. The street itself is going to turn right.
and I said, okay. So I was driving. I could see only the things that were close to me, so I only could see the houses from my window. I couldn't see much ahead, and I was driving really slowly, and I reached the end of the street, and he said,
You see, I told you that the street is going to turn to right by itself.
and I said, yeah. And I was driving, and I turned. When I turned, I make this turn, I looked at him, and I said, okay, so what now? And guys, I can't even describe to you this sensation of completely horror that took me. I'm going to try to show you guys what I saw, because I understand that's really difficult. So in my point of view, imagine you are sitting on the driver's seat. I looked at him and I said, okay, so what now? He turned at me, holding his phone, and he was like,
Okay, now you're gonna.
so I saw the time slowing down, and his lips started like this, and his hand was like slowly pointing at the phone, and his head was slowly turning to me, and I saw a huge light coming from his side. As it was raining so much, I didn't know if it was a bus, if it was a truck, if it was like a large car, but I could see 2 points of light coming, but I don't know from which vehicle it was coming. But time just slowed down. Everything was
So slow.
but my movements were still normal. I could still move. That's why I knew so much details, because I could still turn my head and what's going on here. And at the moment that time slowed down, the sound also stopped, and I couldn't hear a thing. I couldn't hear anything at all. So it's not like, it's like everything was mute, and you know that absence of silence that makes you annoyed, like scared, because there wasn't even a fly's bus. It was just silence, and I saw his lips moving, and I saw that light coming to him, and I couldn't do anything. And at that moment I knew he's going to die. I knew that there's something coming, that it's gonna crash our car, and it's going to hit him, because it was coming from the right. And I was scared to death, and this lasted for, I don't know, 3 seconds. It was really quick. I get even like a little scared remembering now, and in a split of a second I was speaking again, and the sounds were back in, and I was saying, okay, so what now? And I turned my head to him, and he was holding his phone, and he was saying,
Oh, you are going straight ahead and you're going to make a right.
And then later he said,
No, no, you are not going to make the right. The street itself is going to turn the right and you're just going to follow.
you know, so I think I have a glimpse of a near future, some sort of premonition or something like that. I don't know how to call it. I don't know what caused it. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that I was completely horrified, and I was driving, and I started crying. And my husband was like, what's going on? My instinct, guys, I had two instincts at the time. The first one was, I need to leave this street right now. So it was a little bad for me, but I just steered the wheel. I didn't even look what was on my right. Thank God there was no car parked in there. I just steered the wheel, because I had to leave like the middle of the street, and I just steered the wheel. I parked like totally wrong, and I was crying and looking, and my husband was like, oh, what's happening? His name is Lucas, that's why I'm saying Lucas. So, and Lucas was like, oh, why, what's going on? And I was like, shut up. For some reason I needed the silence to make some sense, and I have my rear view mirror and I had some stuff like jingling from there, so I was like, shut up, and I put my hands over his mouth, and I also hold my jingles here to stop making noise. I needed silence to make some sort of sense, because I was like, what's happening? This already happened. I know what's going to happen. I needed like a couple of minutes to calm down, because I had small situations like this in the past that I can come and talk to you about it, but this one was the strongest of all. And after I calmed down a little bit, I told my husband what happened, and he knows me, so he believed me, and he asked, do you want to go home? And I said, no, from the GPS you were saying that we are close, so let's continue our way. I started telling him, okay, before he even said something, to me, I started telling him, I was like, okay, when we turn the street, we are going to see a trash bin like this, a car like this, a tree like this. And he was like just listening to me. And when we actually made the turn, he saw it was there. So the car that I mentioned was there, the bins that I mentioned was there, and since on my vision or premonition, I was driving so slowly, I could see very well. So that's why I have those details in my mind. I even got the color right of the car. And since this is 4 years ago, these sort of details I don't remember right now, but I do remember the sensation of despair, guys. It was pure despair. I knew that my husband was going to die, that something was going to crash on us. And I even remember that my instinct on the vision was like, I took my right hand and I put on him, just as I could like protect him. I didn't care anything about me at the time. I only wanted to protect him. And then I was back asking him, okay, so what now? And I saw you, okay, so you're going straight there. Guys, it's so frustrating because I don't have answers. I don't know why. I don't have any explanation at all. And I have many friends of different religions and they don't have an explanation for this. I don't know, guys. It's really frustrating as well because I can't say when it started. What do I mean by that? I was just driving. I don't know when this vision started. When I went back, you know, it was seamless. I can't differentiate from, I couldn't differentiate from reality and what was a vision. So this scared me a lot. It wasn't even like you are dreaming, that some stuff don't make sense or you don't have details, like don't remember faces. But guys, it was normal. It was like me being there, and then that thing happened, and then silence, and then despair, and then me going back driving, and I saw him grabbing the phone and showing me and speaking what I have just seen, what I have just experiencing minutes before, like 30 seconds, 45 seconds before. So this was the first story. I'm not sure how lengthy this video will be, but I don't know if I can squeeze a second story. I don't think so. Yeah, so I think I'm going to do the other story in another video in order to make it shorter. This was today's video. I know it's a little bit different. I know that my mood gets a little bit down, my energy levels get a little bit down, but it's an honest experience that I had, and it's not something that someone told me. I felt it, and this is a reason for me and my mom. We don't talk about it much because she's really Catholic and she thinks these things are from the devil and blah blah blah, and I don't have people to talk about this sort of thing, so I decided to share you guys. Perhaps you have experiences like this. I know it's a little bit different, but I hope you guys like this video, and if you didn't like it, at least it's me sharing a little bit of my life with you, considering we are on Halloween, and on Halloween, in theory, the walls or the veils between the worlds get thinner, right? In theory. Yeah, that's it. If you have experiences like that, please leave them down below and I'll be sure to check those. If you have an explanation for me, please also leave them down below. I would really appreciate it. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Also, consider subscribing to this channel. If you're already subscribed, thank you very much. And I see you guys into the next one. And it will be Spookathon number 15, right? So I'm hoping it will be Audi. Spoiler alert, I think it will be Audi, if not 15, 16. Okay, so no further ado. Bye guys.